video, and on this video I'm going to be reviewing the latest album by Martin Miller. This album in question, which is called Maze of the Mind. Martin Miller is known primarily as a guitar player, and he emerged on YouTube about 10 years ago. He has a very successful YouTube with over 750,000 subscribers, so he makes this channel look like a little dwarf, right? He's an incredible guitar player. He's one of those guys that seems to have perfect technique and then pull in every single influence, you know, from metal, from rock, from blues, but also really interesting for me, for jazz. This guy's got a really great understanding of harmony and melody, and when he's improvising, although you get all that sort of, you know, modern neoclassical metal stuff going on, you've also got some beautiful phrasing and beautiful harmony. He really knows his jazz, this guy. After getting known as a guitar player, a few years back, I think about 5 years ago, he decided to start singing. Took singing lessons, started to work on his songwriting, and he shifted his approach away from just muso guitar playing to something much more holistic, you know, pulling in all his influences. And what we have on this album is a document of that. It's a document of that process of him becoming an artist from just being a guitar player. The album is absolutely fantastic. I'll be listening to it all week. It's a beautiful album. Martin isn't trying to break new barriers, right? He's not trying to make avant-garde music or push the envelope in that way. What we have here is a really interesting collection of differing influences. We have rock and that sort of whole Steve Vai, post Joe Satriani guitar thing going on, but we've also got straight rock, metal and melodic rock. There's some beautiful melodies on this, and we also have bits of jazz and jazz fusion, and most interesting to me, overwhelmingly, we have prog. So Martin is known as a guitarist with a young audience that are into his guitar playing. He's made this shift. And when I put this on, this is an out-and-out prog album. And he's pushing the boundaries in one place, because although it's got many of the classic sort of approaches you get from all those styles I've described, when you listen to it, he's channeled it through modern production techniques. Now, I hate to say this, but the band that was quite important, I think, to doing that, you know, sort of 10-15 years ago, was my old band Frost. I can't take credit for it. I was just the drummer, but Frost and my old compadre, partner in crime, Jem Godfrey, did precisely that many years ago, and I think it just opened up to people a way of producing prog, which brought in stuff from dance music, electronica, and that is on this album as well, and it's really interesting and incredibly well done. The production on this album is brilliant, so much so that for the first time on a review here, you're actually getting to hear some of the album. Right, so let's just do a rundown through the tracks. So the first track is called Something New, and it sounds like this.
Making strides as flames grow higher, chasing out the shadows, looming over my self-esteem. So let this be your message.
Right, so here we have, I think, Martin announcing to the world that there is something new here, that he is singing, that he is songwriting, that he's producing, he has become an artist. And this is a real statement of intent. You know, he comes in, he knocks you really in the face, it's full on, but it's also so melodic and beautiful, and it moves through all these different sections. If you're a fan of his guitar playing, there is a ton of guitar playing on this, and he really goes deep. It's not just like an 8-bar guitar solo. He goes deep, he does all sorts of stuff. The musicianship is incredible. The guy they got on drums is just unbelievable. And although it's gone through all those modern production methods that I'm sometimes critical of, it still sounds to me like a real band. I feel the fact that the drummer seems to be throwing in things that have come out of his being at the moment. You know, it's really interesting. So this first track comes in, and really sets the scene, really nails this idea of what Martin's trying to do, which is its amalgamation of all his influences. And then we go to the second track, and the second track is called Fragments.
Fragments of my past convictions, clouded by my lifelessness, remain.
Now, as soon as I heard this second track, this is when my ears alerted. There's something about the chord movement and harmony and the way the vocal melody works. I thought, this sounds like somebody, and I realised what it sounded like was my old band Frost. This opens up, brings the sort of dynamic down, starts as a ballad, very beautiful melody, and then halfway through it really kicks in and you start to hear that whole sort of majestic prog sound. Really interesting track. So he's taken us off down another avenue now, and we move to the next track, which is called Left Inside.
To try.
Right, Left Inside starts to really mess around with the influences. You know, it starts to widen up. This track is, how can I describe it? We're starting to hear more metal influences. We're starting to hear a lot modern dance music influences. He's starting to widen the net on this track and pull in a wider remit of stuff. The playing is still absolutely incredible, and all the time he's hitting these incredible vocal melodies, and you really hear what an incredible singer he is. Now, you know, when I did the interview with Martin, and you can check that interview out here, right? There's a link there. We discussed this, and I was quite shocked that he hasn't been singing since he was like 5 years old, only decided to sing a few years ago, and took vocal lessons, but the vocals shine on this album. Somebody who can play the guitar like this and sing like this, they're few and far between. You have a think about it, that someone who can do that, you know. It's very similar to the journey Steve Vai went on when Steve Vai emerged sort of oh, I've dropped the album now. Sorry, Martin, I've dropped it on the floor. Right, I'm going to have kicked the drum kit, it's all going wrong now. So, you know, Steve Vai did the same thing, and I think Steve Vai went for that sort of vocal technique approach, which is this sort of low volume vocal approach. I think Chris Cornell used it. It sounds powerful, and I don't know whether Martin's done something similar, but the vocals are very powerful but very controlled. The next track after that is called Web of Lies, and it sounds a bit like this.
Watch me sign in, just an observation. Attention, your eminence, reveal your infernal wisdom. Come and tell the world, get up here and join the show. Don't want you to...
Again, what we hear on this, you know, we hear that sort of, it opens up with that sort of pumping bass line. It's more organic, and then he takes us on a journey. When you look at the structure of this album, the first track is nearly 10 minutes long. It's 8 minutes 56 or 9 minutes long. Then we got 3 smaller, littler tracks, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and 6 minutes, right? And then we get to the last track, which is 10 minutes. So these are like mini epics, but even when you're dealing with a 5-minute track on this album, it sounds like an epic. This is out and out prog. The thing that makes it prog, I think, is the lyrical matter. You know, he doesn't go down the sword and sorcery fantasy thing. It's much more like neo-prog, where it's much more about what psychologically is going on in your head. It's got a ton of technique, incredible playing, a lot of stuff borrowed from prog metal on here. There's some incredible stuff where you hear the sort of riffs, the bass drum and these syncopated off riffs working together. A lot of what I've played you on here is usually taking sort of roughly the chorusy bits, but these tracks really develop into something complex. And on Web of Lies, it does that incredible. And then we finish up with the final track on the album, which is called Compass, and it sounds like this.
filling our hole. Within the night we are bound, yearning for control. Reveal the might where the
So Compass does that little bit of a stairway to heaven thing. You'll hear near the beginning starts down really low and then it builds up to a really majestic, epic finale with incredible guitar solo. The album is not like an hour and 10 minutes long. It's like an album length that you would have got in the 70s or 80s, and I really love that. When it got to the end of the album, I felt like I wanted more, and straight away on the first listen I put it back to the beginning and listened to it all again. I think that's so important. I think it's a mistake many people are making, is making albums too long. And even if you love it, once you've done 3/4 of an hour, 50 minutes, 55 minutes, you're growing tired, you want something else. What this album does is leaves you wanting more. And we want more, Martin. So it's very interesting for me to see the journey of this guy. Now, if you take me and Martin and our friendship we've got, here I am as an old, established progressive rock drummer. I've played with IQ, I've played with Frost, I've played with Magenta, and I'm in a progressive rock band called Rain. We're signed to GEP Records. And I come from that world of progressive rock. I know all the guys in it, especially the UK sort of neo-prog scene. That's what I'm in. I'm in that established scene and I know that scene. Martin's come through this much more newer way of getting music. There's no record deal here. He's done this himself and he's done it through YouTube and he's amassed a huge audience, right? But if I was to go to my prog world and say, have you heard Martin Mill, have you heard his new album? They might not know who he is. I don't think they would unless they just happen to be a fan of his guitar channel, right? This is really interesting to me to have a prog album which is so out and out prog emerging from that world. So what I'm doing here, and the reason why I'm reviewing this album, is I know a lot of you lot who watch this are here because you're progressive rock fans, and there might be 2 or 3 of you who are progressive rock fans who like my old band IQ and Frost. If you like IQ and Frost, you are going to love this album. So run out and get it now, and let's get Martin, or help Martin at least, to get that first foothold into this world, because all of us we don't want progressive rock to die away. We need to bring the young people into it, and there is a young audience out there, and this is why on this channel I always try to get us old guys. I know what we like, I'm like it too. You know, many years ago we put the shutters up, haven't we? You know, we know what we like and we like what we know. That is totally understandable. And as I've said on videos elsewhere, us old guys are holding up at the moment the music industry, which is still putting out stuff by real musicians and real players. But Martin's a young guy with a young audience, and this is real playing, this is great songwriting, great production. It shows the world how music can be. And in a different world, this should be on the radio, because he hasn't tried to make some up its own arse muso album. He's tried to make an album with hooks and catchy choruses as well. And I found myself singing a lot of these tunes when the album's over. So really great album. I've come on here employed you to go at least check it out. If you look down there, there will be a link to Martin's Bandcamp. Go and have a listen again. Tell me what you think in the comments, right? And you know, hopefully those of you who go, oh, Andy he only ever covers old music, he's only interested in stuff from the 70s. Yeah, I know, it's true. It's true. But the way on this channel I want to approach showcasing new music is by trying to showcase the music that is sort of coming in contact with this channel. Now, I'll show you something here. Bit of excitement, right? Up here, I have 2 CDs. All right? These are the 2 latest albums by Scott Henderson. You see that? And you could see on there's a little note on both of them, a nice lovely silver pen that says, thanks Andy, Scott Henderson. Scott Henderson has been in touch and he sent me some albums to review. I can't wait to review that. That's what's coming up next. So what's going on at the moment, this channel is making little bits of waves on YouTube and people are reaching out, and if you are a jazz fusion, prog musician, or whatever, you're making weird creative music, I want to tell people about your music. I don't want to run it down. I don't want to say it's critical. I just want to give you a showcase to get that music out there. And if I can do that for Scott on the next video, who is one of my great heroes, and I believe one of the greatest guitarists that has ever lived, you know, and when that dropped through on the doormat the other day and I saw Scott's name on the front, I was like, oh my God, this is surreal. It's all surreal, isn't it? Right, look at that. Look at that. That's Scott Henderson's writing. Oh, see, 55 years old, still a fanboy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you should like it. So press that like button now. And if you want to hear more, you have to subscribe to my channel. So subscribe now. I've only got 15,000 subscribers. Martin's got 750,000. I need to catch that guy up. So start subscribing now. Right? If you want to know about the next videos to come up and not miss that Scott Henderson video, press the notification bell. But most importantly, there's a Patreon link there. Join that and pay me some money so I can have some money coming in. I like money. You see, this is a big thing. No one else is ever going to tell you that. But I like money. I need the money. So click on the Patreon link, get over to my Patreon and start paying me some money every month for what I'm doing. Why should you be getting all this for free? Ask yourself that, right? You know, I got a wife and 2 kids to feed here, right? So, you know, I don't do this for fun. I do really. I love doing it. I don't do this for fun. So, you know, get over to my Patreon. You know, stop. I don't really believe any of this. It's really hard to keep it up sometimes. Well, I think I've got to the point, it's definitely the end of the video now, isn't it? I don't want to go off on a tangent on I know you lot want me to, but I'm not going to go off on a tangent on this video. I'm about to film a video called the 10 more lame prog and jazz albums, right? That one could well have a lot of tangents on it. Tangents could be in evidence on that. So if you want to know about that one, press the notification bell. Go on my Patreon, pay money. Right, I'm going now. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.
dawn is breaking, warmth of summer gently fading, sated by sunlight. Declare that once impaired my vision glistens through the earthly prism, vaguely familiar, drifting into reminiscence, clarity of my existence, paling, roaming the maze of my mind. Find a way back home. In my heart the sun is setting, I can look upon myself and know fragments of my past convictions, clouded by my lifelessness, remain.